morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. Welcome to what is 2014 Review 2015 Kickoff. And I'm very excited you're all here today. It's the one time really the whole firm is together, both to review the previous year, what we've done well, what we could do better, and to really get you motivated for 2015 and all that it holds in store for you individually and for us collectively as a firm. I want to welcome you back to this fire station. We were here 2 years ago for our event. We've just completed what has been 5 years of my life over here working on this fire station. From the acquisition of the building a little over 5 years ago, the first year was basic just maintenance, repointing the brick and fixing the roof. The Heights Association had been using this building actually for a decade or so before, where we rented it from the city for $1. The reason we decided to go ahead and purchase it was when the city gets into financial strains, they think about selling assets, and I was nervous they were going to sell the building and something else would happen to it. So instead of paying $1 a month in rent, we paid $350,000 to purchase it and embarked on what became a 4-year restoration project. We formed a master plan about 4 years ago when I was president of the Heights Association, and then embarked on what was 3 full years of pretty extensive remodeling. 3 years ago, we restored the downstairs area, which was basically a bunch of compartmentalized rooms, and we opened it all up, restored back the garage doors, refinished the floors, we did the air conditioning, the kitchen, and all the electrical down there. If you don't remember, even this room was basically hunter green and brass fixtures everywhere. And so the following year, we came upstairs, we totally renovated, stripped down all the lead-based paint, restored the tin back to its original luster, replaced all the lighting, redid the floors, and originally these are still the original windows from the building. We remodeled the back area and the back storage area and created 2 new bathrooms upstairs. And then this last year, we spent almost $175,000 redoing the parking lot, the lighting, ADA compliance, the back stairwell, repointing the brick, and created these 2 courtyards down there. The southern courtyard is available for you to purchase bricks for just a limited time longer. You purchase a brick for $150 and have it engraved, and all of that will take place between now and March 8th, when we'll have the rededication of this building. It's the 100th anniversary of the building. We're having a huge event here for the Heights Association, and I feel like what we've done is restore the building for the next 100 years. So I hope you can appreciate it, and Frank and I are glad this project's over, so we can move on to some other things here. But it's a beautiful building. It is the crown jewel of the Heights, for the Heights Association and for committee meetings and for opportunities. We rent this venue out. The Heights Association generates almost $150,000 worth of revenue from the rental of the building for weddings, bar mitzvahs, senior parties, all kinds of things, whatever. So it stays rented. The Thursday, Fridays, and Saturdays are predominantly already booked for all of 2015 or whatever. So, but if you're interested or know someone that's interested in it, we'd love to continue to rent it. That money goes directly back into the Heights Association for our parks, trees, deed restrictions, the maintenance of Marmion Park and Donovan Park, and of the Boulevard. So we're proud to be back here again, and I know that Houstonian and some of those other things are maybe a little more glamorous, but I hope this is really a part of our soul, a part of the threshold of the community. So thank you for coming here. 2014 really was a spectacular year in real estate. If you were part of real estate during that time, much of our industry was unprecedented during that time. Having gone through a recession and having gone through a pause and a period of uncertainty, as we've discussed before, beginning in 2013, the pendulum shifted 180 degrees to the opposite side. As we discussed throughout the year, there was an imbalance, and there was certainly a lack of inventory, stress as a result of the lack of inventory, and the pressure of just the greatness that is our city and the number of people that want to live within our city and those from the suburbs who want to move back within. It created this tremendous amount of opportunity and stress, and a great opportunity for realtors in general. It's difficult to sell a house, but it takes a very, very long time to sell a house, and we understand that. It's just as difficult to sell a house when you're competing with so many other people, and there are bidding wars. The catchphrase of 2013 and 14 creates another level of stress. Creates buyer fatigue when they can't get what they want, and they're continually trying, asking you, find me a house, find me a house, find me a house, and there's still no house. Having willing buyers and no product is very frustrating for our industry, and I think we've all experienced that. It's much better, though, than having a bunch of houses and no buyers. Believe me, having gone through both, I'll take 2014 over 2008 and 9 almost any day. We had a phenomenal year at Boulevard Realty. In many ways, we had a year that was not tumultuous. We didn't have a hurricane. We didn't have a financial crisis. We had really what you'd want to have: continued, steady growth, where we were able to continue to establish ourselves in our industry, both with real estate professionals and with buyers and with sellers. And it was by far the very best year we've ever had as a company. I'm proud to announce that for 2014, our sales were $216,013,570, exceeding our We were able to achieve those kind of numbers because of you here in this room. Both the staff that gave support to the agents and to the agents who were the boots on the ground out doing the work every day. And we had the largest number of top producers that we've ever had. The greatest variety of people who participated in transactions than ever before. And the greatest opportunity for people to diversify their buying and selling portfolio. I'm going to start and announce our top producers, and I want them just to come up and stay with me until we get to the end here. So I want to start by recognizing our top Galveston producer, Robert Zahn. Robert had 34 transactions equaling $4,955,020. Next, I would like to announce Star Massey, who has $5,231,023 transactions. Next, Brandy Downing. Brandy, have I seen Brandy today? I don't have children this year, but Brandy had 27 transactions for $5,422,100. Next was Drew Platt. Drew had 23 transactions for $5,754,517. Next was Brandon Kruger. Brandon did $6,590,450 in 18 transactions. Next was Karen Durr. $795,250,000 in 12 transactions. Come on up here. Next was Jay with $9,796,750. Next was Cynthia Mullins with $12,350,000. And our top producer, Melissa Cavallo, with $24,900,000. Melissa, the top did 39 transactions. Pretty amazing. I did personally work a little and sold $34,160,000 in 50 transactions. collectively, this group sold over $105 million out of the $216 million that we sold in 2014. So I want to recognize them. This year I'm doing a little something different. I give people individual little gifts. We've got something else going on here. We are going, much of today, we're going to talk about redefining the role of the realtor and redefining the value of a realtor and rediscovering our city and our industry. And part of our rediscovery is we are going to take you guys on a tour, a whole day of festivities of rediscovering Houston. It's a curated event by myself. You're going to go to some amazing places. We're going to start at 9 in the morning. We have a full day of very inspirational, educational, informative days. We'll let the mothers go at 3 o'clock and pick up their children, and we're going to regroup later that afternoon with your significant others for an evening of continued delight that we're going to define to you very, very shortly. I think it's going to be a great day of rediscovery of the East Side, Chateau Denis, and Biscuit, and the City Sustainable Office, and this great opportunity. We're going to go to 10 different places, have lunch together, drinks together, and dinner together, and it's our way to reward you for 2014. So, congratulations to all of you. I want to recognize my team that helps me do what it is that I do. And so I want to recognize Brandon, Arturo, Frank, and Andre for their help this year and all the things they've done for me along the way. They answer the phone, and they return emails, and they give me the support and the enthusiasm that I need. So I want to recognize them and thank them very much for what they do. I would like to recognize the staff, the salaried staff that every day go to work and support each and every one of you. They do an amazing job. Today, while we talk about redefining the role and redefining the value of realtors, our firm is based on the people that do the work, and the people that support the agents that do the work. We would not have the firm we have today if it weren't for the commitment of the people who base their career on helping you fulfill your goals and Boulevard Realty meet its objectives. And so I want to recognize Sandra, Eric, Aaron, Julie for all of their hard work. And we are going to take them on another corporate little retreat and take them on a little deal where we're all going to be together. We're going off to Austin to the San Jose Hotel for a corporate retreat at the end of the month, and I think it'll be a very nice experience. Also, we have dedicated hourly staff who answer the phones and make copies, blow balloons, prepare things for you, make things for me all the time. And I want to recognize all of them. Selena, Joe, Megan, Jesse, Thomas, for all that they do. And I'm going to take them on something very special here later this month also for them all. Okay, moving onward. We have been very honored the last few years to have the chairmen of the boards come and speak to us. We were fortunate to have Dave Frank 2 years ago speak to us here at the fire station. We had Shally Ralph speak to us last year along with Bob Hell, and we're honored today to have the incoming and current chairman of the board of HAR here to speak to us, is Nancy Frost. Nancy today is growing our industry within the city, and so
thank you all. Can you hear me? Yes. Okay. We'll get this going. Have you had your coffee this morning? Have you had your coffee?
yeah.
Can you see the slides? Okay. We just got some of this. So you all are experiencing our maiden voyage today. We're very excited about the things that are happening If at any time you have any questions, please raise your hand. We're going to use some slides, and I'm going to talk to you all about some things that are happening also. As you know, there's many new things on the horizon. Here we go. Can y'all see the numbers? The bottom line is we only have 2.7 months of inventory. And we've got large numbers of buyers moving to the area, not just in the Heights area, but all around Houston every single day. So we've got to figure out a way to get some more inventory in here. Here we go with our single-family home sales. We did a little over 5,000 units. Right here, we have our average and median prices. Can you all see that? Mm-hmm. Townhouse, condominium. Let me ask y'all here, how many of you in this room own your own property, your own home, some piece of real estate? Pretty much everyone. One of the classes that I spoke to had 33 top producers in it. And I just said, by the way, how many of you own your own properties? And only 6 people raised their hands. So it depends, I think, on maybe how long people have been in the business and the age group. So I'm very pleased to see so many people here do own their own property. You can go to HAR.com in the newsroom and hear all of the events that are happening. HAR Connect. Bill was at installation. Did any of you all get to go to installation? A few of you? It was a tremendous event, even if I was there. Okay, our employment forecast from the Greater Houston Partnership. We are projected to have probably about 55.4 new jobs in real estate this year. Here we go. We're the 4th largest metro economy. Houston Realtors have sold more than 425,000 homes in the past 5 years. And you all are evident of that by just hearing the report this morning. Statewide, how many of you are aware that HAR is now statewide? Great, a few of you, okay. Very good. HAR is now statewide. If you have clients in other cities and other areas that are not contiguous to us right in here, we can put their listings on the HAR statewide. So just know that the more eyeballs that the buyers are getting coming in from everywhere, and not everyone wants to live inside 610. And there are some fabulous buildings going on, like out in Sugar Land. Are you familiar with that, Bill? Right. Bill, by the way, I may want to go on that tour with you. I don't think you could ever get too much of this. Okay, here we have where you can list drive time. This is one of our new features. You can put in point A, point B, and figure out how much drive time it takes you to get there. Okay. We are in 11 real estate markets. Y'all can see that. Okay. The real estate markets, there's the map, the flags. Okay, improvements made. The key is continuously working on improvements. Rentals, you can find rentals everywhere. There's a couple of things I want to talk to y'all about here. You see the trending.
Are you on the consumer side right now? Yes.
Excuse me?
Sorry, are you on the consumer side?
Is that the consumer side? Yes.
Okay.
And you'll have to bear with me. This is our first presentation of the year, and she just put some new stuff in it last night.
You're doing great, Heather. She's doing great.
Heather's doing awesome. Here we go. It just shows you one of the schools, how you can search by schools, always verify your information, neighborhoods, demographics, local events. the venues, the agent profile, mobile updates. The HAR Homes and Realtors, which is a statewide site, is still under beta, but you can still input to it. So it's still alive. Okay, this is where I want to get to you all. You want to know what's in it for you. There's a lot going on. Your business is strong. You have great exposure. 2014, as Bill was telling you, was probably a record year for your company. It was probably a record year for HAR sales. 2015, Dr. Jones at Stewart Title, the real estate economist, has predicted that we're going to kind of have a downturn of 12 to 15%. The real estate, what is that? The real estate at A&M? Okay. They are predicting maybe a 5 to 7% downturn. Okay? Now, Mattress Mac had a really good quote. Are y'all familiar with his quote a few years ago when the recession hit? And people were asking him how was he going to handle the recession, and he said, "I choose not to participate." I think, I'm with him. I think there are enough niche markets and enough productivity going on with companies like this that whatever you want to do, you can do it. Just stay in there. Don't give up. Oil prices, people are always asking, what about the oil prices? Just remember what Mattress Mac said. We are a diversified city now. We were not diversified before. The regulatory issues. How many of you all are aware of 2 issues that can dramatically affect the real estate business and what you were doing? Anyone in here? PATH Act or the CFPB? One person? Okay. How many of you all love what you're doing? You love real estate. I do. I wake up to a new world every morning. Okay? The PATH Act, read the PATH Act. Next one. PATH Act. They want to do away with Freddie and Fannie. Okay? So you would eliminate your first line of government guarantees for a loan. When you eliminate Freddie and Fannie, you've eliminated your entry-level home buyers. Okay? So you don't want to do that. And if private money becomes the way of lending money in real estate, who controls the money? The banks. So if the banks control the money and the banks control real estate, who would you be working for? You can get your updates on the broker call to action. Bill, do you forward those out?
Oh, yeah.
We've got to get a better response time to our call for actions. We're at a very low rate for people responding back to calls for action. So we really need people to call in on that. Reasons to hire, did we already pass over the CFPB? CFPB. Sounds good. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Okay? It sounds really good. They are a regulatory agency. They have no guidelines. They have no appeal process, and they are accountable to no one. When we were in Washington, Dana Kermit and I were in Washington Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of last week. We visited with our different congressmen and visiting in Senator Cruz's office. The chief deputy told us that there's 22 pieces of legislation waiting to go to the Senate for controls on this CFPB. Right now, they've gone into different parts of the country. They fined one company $500,000. There was no one to appeal to, so they had deep enough pockets they could pay it. Another company was fined $99 million. They didn't have $99 million, so they had to close the doors. It There's a time component. So we've got to keep our pulse rate on what's happening on these two issues, in my opinion, folks. So why would you want to hire a real estate professional? My bottom line answer to that is, if you go to the doctor and he says you've got to have surgery, and we've got an apprentice over here who can do it, are you going to let the apprentice do it? Or do you want the professional to do it? Why would you want someone who is not a professional to represent you in one of the most important purchases and decisions of your life? I would always say, always seek out the professionals. Okay, we'll go back here just a minute. I've got a couple of notes here. We didn't have our tree back slide in there, did we? The tree back? Okay, but not our fact sheet on it. Okay. Are we all tree pack contributors? I sure hope so. Yes, there goes the hands. Thank you very much. We are going to Austin, April the 14th. There'll be plenty of buses. You can go on the bus. We make a huge impression. Have any of y'all been before? Oh, great, Bill. We need to get a bus for your company with this group. Absolutely. That'd be great. Remember, when they're talking about, there's always new legislators that come in at Austin, and they're always talking about getting, taxing professional services, real estate, doctors, chiropractors, your tax consultants. So we're always having to fight those issues, okay? So far, we have prevailed. TreePack has prevailed on that. And remember, if you're not at the table, if you don't have an advocate there representing you, you're on the menu. Think about that one for a minute. Okay. Thank goodness that HAR, even today as we speak with the news, that's going on in the headlines, our CEO, Bob Hale, is in meetings today, getting all of the top information that he'll bring back, and we'll figure out where we are in all of this. So just know that HAR is there and is representing you and has your best interest at heart. I would love to thank Bill for having me here today. We've served on governmental, political affairs, historic preservation. It was so neat, and to see so many of you all here today. Thank you for coming out. I would hope, did you learn anything today? Did you learn anything new today? Great, thank you. Okay, thank you, Bill. Thank you. Once a month. Anybody that wants to come to the board meeting, please feel free to.
When is that?
January the 19th is the next one, next Monday. But let me know if you're coming, so we'll be sure to have plenty of food for you.
Perfect.
But we want to tell you to line up a bus. Get with me and we'll line up so that you'll get some people on your bus. And then one of the other things that helped me in my business was the CIPS designation. Are there any CIPS designees in here? Rita is going to be having the Certified International Property Specialist class, and she'll have it this year again. And it would be a real good one since, our world is becoming more global.
It's very international.
Very international. So that's coming up. Lisa, did I forget anything? There's a lot of, TRLP. TRLP, the leadership class. Do we have any TRLP graduates? One. Very good. Okay. Here's an opportunity. The Texas Real Estate Leadership Program. That's starting up.
How long is that program?
It goes for 5 or 6 months.
It's 9 months, one class a month. They're taking applications now, and if you're interested, let me know. It's the,
1 day a month.
yeah, by far the best class and program I've ever been involved in terms of putting you in contact with people like Nancy and the leadership as they grow through the ranks. It's a really good program.
It's usually a class of about 24 to 30, okay? And you do get, like you're saying, you'll get an H-Town Day presentation. You go to Austin one day and you hear from all of our governmental affairs folks at the Austin, at the state level. Oh, and we've got a winter meeting coming up, first part of February. So y'all be sure to check that out too. Well, thank you so much.
Absolutely. Thank you. I mean, it's a privilege to be able to have HAR representatives and incoming chairman of the board. She's very busy, gets invited to a lot of things, but to take time out and come and visit with us and spend your morning with us, I really, really appreciate it. I know you're busy and will have to slip off, but thank you very, very much for coming.
Thank you.
Absolutely. 2014, just to recap again, I mean, $216 million. We had a goal of $200 million, which was up from the $188 million the time before. It was a difficult time to achieve those numbers, remember? Many of us have plenty of buyers and not enough products. Hard to sell houses when there's not enough houses out there to sell or whatever. So we actually sold fewer houses in 2014 than we did in 2013, but the dollar volume of what we sold was higher or whatever. So I mean, I think that's kind of indicative. A couple of things are happening. Not enough inventory, rising prices in many of our markets or whatever, attributed to some of those features there. But we actually were up in growth dollar volume 11 of the 12 months in 2014, which was pretty good. We actually had the greatest agent retention that we've ever had. We lost the fewest number of agents throughout the entire year than in any year that since I've owned the company or whatever. We brought on what I thought was the strongest, largest group of new agents, and the majority of those agents, 80% of them, had over 1 year of experience in other firms, many of them larger firms than ourselves there. We were able, I think, most successfully to attract larger developers whose payoff may even be in 2016 for us. To have Rowan Wright and Donna come and join our firm and establish what is almost $47 million worth of listings, many of which won't be sold into 2016, is validation somewhat of who we are and what it is that we do. I know there's a large portion of that we're a large firm in the Heights and their project is in the Heights, and I get that. But I think what we're working with Rowan Wright is to establish our expertise in the whole marketplace. They're learning something from us just as much as we're learning something from them. And I think we'll be able to parlay those experiences with Rowan Wright and Bell Heights to other developments throughout the city if we want to focus on that. We're never going to be hugely into high-rise development or 50-unit master plan communities or whatever, but I do want an affiliation with a builder much like Rowan Wright, who has integrity, who has longevity, who has great exposure into the city. It is validation for us that they would choose us to represent them. They had other choices in the Heights to choose, and they chose us, and Donna's been a great asset, and their affiliation to us, I think, is a very, very good long-term play for us. And I think we will continue through Stephen. Stephen, where are you? Stephen's joined us also, and we're getting the opportunity to make our pitches to other developers throughout the city, not entrenched into the Heights. We're focused on projects in Midtown, we're focused on projects in the Med Center, in the Museum District, across Alameda, and even if some of those projects are 3 units, 5 units, 7 units, 10 units, or whatever, it's going to give us a market penetration through the Kirby office and some of these other developments that will give us exposure in some areas, which is what I want to do, continue our diversification outside of the Heights area so that the agents have an opportunity in more local communities much like this. I'm very proud and continue to tout our affiliation with Global Leverage Partners. I mean, I think it's a great opportunity for us, and we're going to spend much of the first quarter of 2013 continuing to describe that. Through Global Leverage, it's giving us the same affiliation that Christie's Great Estates or some of those things might provide for Martha Turner and John Doherty. It's giving us an affiliation of vetted independent real estate firms, not a big chain somewhere else, but an independent firm throughout almost every city in America and globally, internationally. We're having affiliations with Paris, London, Mexico City, Dubai, and all of those other regions. It gives us a couple of things. You now have a realtor referral program in every city in America. And we're only paying 25%, I'm paying 40%, and you're not going to fill out any damn paperwork. That's pretty impressive to me. It's a simple referral program for your outgoing clients and for interning clients who are moving into the area. So that's one thing. It's giving us a referral network. It's giving us partner affiliations in these other cities. They're providing us educational opportunities, both in the social media and just lifestyle arena, that we could not get. A firm our size wouldn't have this affiliation without something like Global Leverage. And what it's really giving me, the thing I needed most, was a mentor of other vetted firms much like ourselves throughout the city. I've tried to reach out to Ed Wolf and Amy Bernstein and Mike Huff and some of these other people, and I can go have a glass of wine and talk to them about agent retention, social media, and relationship with HAR. But by being able to go and talk to that guy in Austin, or that guy in Napa Valley, or that guy in Boulder, Colorado, or Atlanta, or Tulsa, or Oklahoma City, I'm able to get a relationship with another owner, much like myself, to discuss the impact of oil in Amarillo and Tulsa. What's the impact of international buyers in Atlanta and Miami and Mexico City? It gave me a mentor of other vetted owners, much like myself. We started this position, the owner of the Telluride firm came in, and the number one buyer of properties in Telluride, Colorado, the last decade are people from Houston, Texas. Okay? They don't sell houses in Telluride to people in Telluride. They sell houses to people from Dallas and Houston and Fort Worth and Austin. And to be able to have some of those people, if they go to Telluride to search for a home, now they have a referral back of a partner here in Houston, Texas. And it's just relationships. So we're going to continue to expand and our exposure to you for Global Leverage. But I think there's a great opportunity there for all of us to gain some insight into what they're doing. We spent much of 2014 as a firm branding ourselves continually into the buying world, into the realtor world, and into the selling world. And I think we've continued to build upon the great experience that I came from with Karen Durr to grow a firm that has respect at HAR. Through my friends there at HAR and the leadership, we're well respected. If I call Bob Hill, I get an answer or a return phone call. If I reach out to Nancy, she was happy to join us. If I call Dana, I have access to them at Sean and Nathan at MLS. I mean, we've increased our visibility, and through your participation, Biggie and MLS Advisory and those sort of things, we continue to garner respect among our peers. I continue to promote ourselves into the arena of the buyer so that our advertisements and our message is out there about the strength of relationships with realtors. We haven't advertised many houses in over 18 months, but I'm continually sending the messages of when we go out there, we place ads throughout the city. We're talking about the ever-changing real estate. We placed this ad 3 months ago that came out in January here, and it's talking about the ever-changing real estate market. It's talking about uncertainty in marketplace means that it's now more important than ever to rely on a trusted advisor. It's our commitment to you to provide exceptional level of service and a scope of service in the year to come, and we at Boulevard Realty will compete with ourselves to exceed the expectations of both the buyer and the seller. And we're committed to staying engaged with legislation, regulation, and our industry, staying engaged into your local community and deed restrictions and retail and restaurants, staying engaged in your schools and things that impact homeowners' decisions about where it is that they want to be. What's the impact of light rail? What's the impact of movement into the east side and the near north side? What is the impact of Galveston as we continue to come out of what is a hurricane session and their economy continues to thrive and diversify or whatever? But we're maintaining the interest of our clients first, not ourselves. Ours is an industry that has an image problem. We are honest about if you're talking about the urban living mindset or the Sudol property mindset or the inexperienced agent who got into real estate yesterday because they were a teacher or a cutlery barn one day and everyone wants to be a realtor the next. You need an individual who is vetted, who's partnered with experienced brokers, experienced agents, who will help them shepherd themselves through what is the most significant financial decision many of them will make. That we will stay connected. We will stay connected socially, digitally, and in our network through Global Leverage Partners provide the greatest exposure for our buyers and for our sellers. And in 2015, we look forward to new experiences and new opportunities to draw from our years of experience and ongoing market savvy to exceed expectations. This is the message we're sending out. It's not putting a $10 million house on Lazy Lane on the paper. It's not putting just one more house that's not going to be there 3 months later. There's nothing worse than buyer fatigue than to call on an advertisement and say, I want that bungalow on Woodland Street, and you have to say, that one sold 2 months ago. The consumer feels like that was bait and switch. They feel like you've had false advertising. It almost gives our industry a bad rap again over there because we're not able to keep up with what it is that they expect from us. We're continuing to push the message of redefining the role of a realtor. We do not get paid to find people houses. That's from the buyer side. On the seller side, houses do not sell themselves. You know what sells houses? People sell houses. People shepherd you through the process of buying and selling a house. We're going to continue to push this message of what is our worth. They see this 6% and they, you're making a lot of money and the house is going to sell itself. We gotta go. But we're going to go ahead.
Material.
Thank you. These are the new messages that we're going to continue to say. In a constantly changing urban and economic landscape, values also change. As balance is restored into the market, so is a fair amount of uncertainty. This makes it more important than ever to use a trusted advisor. In order to earn the trust, we commit to building more value into our services of our agents before, during, and after the transaction. Before the sale, we're going to demonstrate our knowledge to you and our integrity. During the sale, we're going to negotiate tirelessly on your behalf, keeping your interests short-term, medium-term, and long-term intact first. But after the sale, and truly most importantly, we remain your trusted resource when it comes to remodeling, refinancing, relocating, repairing. We will stay engaged with you, we will stay connected to you, and we will continue to make your neighborhoods and our cities a great place to live. Boulevard Realty is uncommonly dedicated to providing you with exceptional level of service and scope of service, and will only compete with ourselves to exceed your expectations. These are the messages I want to continue to send, and we're going to spend much of the rest of today and throughout this first quarter helping you understand this is the message that I think you need to be sending to the buying world and to the selling world. And we tried to work this last couple of months to prepare ourselves as a firm to help you meet the challenges that are soon going to face us. 2015 will be about uncertainty. If people are scared of falling oil prices, they're concerned about the economy. Now we've woken up and figured out what we had the last 2 years was not sustainable. Let me tell you, I personally and professionally feel it will be better for our industry. We have had no balance in real estate the last 2 years. Every buyer has felt like they've been taken advantage of and have overpaid. And every seller has felt like we weren't worth our services and we could get a little bit more and just a little bit later. Okay? It's created a fragile environment, a difficult environment for real estate professionals to shepherd us through the process. I think the balance will be healthier. Will it make it more difficult for sellers? Damn straight it will. I mean, the pendulum will shift again. It is shifting, and there will be a balance. Okay? 2013, 14, you offered $10,000 less than the asking price, they laughed at you. You offered the full price, they still laughed at you. You offered $1,000 over, they still probably laughed at you. You didn't even get considered if you didn't offer $10,000 more in the first week or two. Now you're going to see the pendulum shift a little bit. Timing and expert pricing will be more important in 2015. Do not push the envelope because your guys could fall off the cliff. Okay? You're going to want to price it such that you attract the largest number of offers initially, because if not, if you're not playing offense, you soon will be playing defense. You very soon will be playing defense. And you must prepare yourselves mentally. You must prepare yourselves professionally. You must prepare your sellers for a lot of lowball offers we're not used to the last couple of years. You're soon going to find the $50,000 less offer will be coming your direction, then the $25,000 less, and then the people will wait you out a little bit longer, and they will use every little bit of economic information that comes our way to help reduce the price of their offers. That's what they're going to do. Some will work. When we're just talking general, it's going to be more difficult. It's going to be a new awakening over here. And we have to prepare. If you've been used to this seller side and say, ha ha ha, offer me your best offer in the first 15 minutes, get ready. You're going to have to kiss ass to people who offer you $50,000 less than your listing price. And you're going to have to find a way to draw them closer to the middle where you can find a number that's acceptable for buyers and sellers. It's going to be more difficult. Certainly going to be more difficult in the very high end. It's certainly going to be more difficult in the townhouse market. It's going to be more difficult. If someone prices a medium price point house in a neighborhood, I think you're still going to have a fine opportunity to sell the house, much like we have. But if it's something on the extreme and you're pushing every limit, it's going to be a brand new day over here. But with that in mind, I think focus less on oil and focus on jobs. Houston, Texas is going to be fine. We are going to add 60,000 jobs that aren't here in 2015. We're going to add more people. The oil companies can make money at a less price per square foot, and the weaker ones that can't will go away and be absorbed by the ones who have more money. The oil companies are well positioned in general to deal with the downturn of the price of oil. And yes, the Houston economy is way more diversified and resilient, and we're probably not looking at long-term oil prices. We're not talking 2 or 3 years of prices being glutted like this. I mean, you're seeing immediate withdrawal of rig count and all those sort of things. The economic data is going to be on the forefront. We're going to continue to send that message. The message we need to send is you need a real estate professional now more than ever. You need one more in 2015 than you needed one in 2013 and 14. And they do. They need us more or whatever. And there will be done with that perception of houses just selling themselves. So for our industry, it's going to get rid of some of the weak and we'll be better. And for Boulevard Realty, we position ourselves. We've been spreading this message. We started before anyone else of talking about uncertainty and economic climate and trusted advisor. And I think we've well positioned ourselves for continued growth in 2015 there. So I think the balance overall will be very good for us or whatever. I want you to pull out your new little matrix of the market. We're going to talk about this thoroughly and we have questions and answers. We have spent much of the last 4 or 5 months, Aaron and myself, and Julie collectively, and the staff members, of trying to figure out how we can help agents better reach their goals. All of our realties reaching their goals are individual agents reaching their goals. And in our firm, which we provide stability, we have a beautiful building over there, we have a nice conference room, got plenty of computers and pencils and paper, and all of that's lovely. What we have for you, though, are people who are helping you, or designed to help you reach your objectives. If you're reaching your objective and you're perfectly happy, well, that's great. Let's keep doing that again. But if you want to do something different, you want to do something more, you want a bigger piece of a pie, we're trying to position ourselves to help you. We've recreated this marketing department based on this matrix here. And we're not totally organized there, but we're soon going to be organized there. And Erin, as our marketing director, spends a lot of time with me understanding the branding vision, understanding our marketing message, putting us in the right places so that we can promote individuals, individual properties, individual developers better in 2015. Okay? We're redefining how it works. So Aaron and I work very well together. He understands me, he thinks like me, or at least he makes it up. He's very good at taking it. And I think we positioned ourselves that now we can go and do the next step, which is help you identify your goals and objectives and help you get there. Julie, as the external marketing coordinator, is here for these events that we have, all of the firm events, which I'm hoping that you take advantage of. If we host a Toast to the New Year, it's designed for you to take that invitation and invite past clients or future clients and take advantage of that opportunity. We're going to continue to have a certain number of events as a firm, and Julie does an excellent job of those. She's also designed to help you promote your events. If Cynthia's going to have a first-time home buyer seminar, or Rhett's going to have a trash pickup in West U Day, and we're going to have a dog pickup over here in the East Side or whatever, Julie's designed to help promote those events for you. She's here for agent promotions, sponsorships if we're doing something in each of these neighborhoods, more press releases based on what you're doing in your communities and your schools and your churches and your neighborhoods. And then, ladies and gentlemen, she's got a 35, 40-year career based on writing. Let us help you promote yourselves by letting Julie get involved into your career, promoting, working on your bio, working on your press releases, working on your content of the individual things that you have for yourself to promote yourself and differentiate yourself in the marketplace. Julie is now going to work in the office more. We're going to have more set hours. She's going to be available to you Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday from 11 to 3. She's going to be in the office during those times. Those times aren't available. She's available to meet with you in the evenings or on the weekends by appointment. She's here to help you. We are adding another person very rapidly. Hope to have it resolved by the end of this week, which is basically a new internal marketing coordinator, basically to help you in your digital presence. Anything that you use an iPad or a cell phone for, this individual is going to help you with your Facebook, your Twitter, your Instagram, your Pinterest, your listing presentation on an iPad, your email blast, your clients for life, your anything that you need to connect with an individual next door or around the world. This person is designed to help you with that sort of stuff. Agent branding, agent marketing, your collateral, your constituent group. I mean, anything we can do for you to get connected. I want you to work more on your clients for life. I want you to add 10 people a day for the next 90 days into a sphere of people. And if you can't find 300, 400, or 500 people that you're reaching out to on a regular basis, you guys need to rethink your real estate career. I mean, you're independent contractors who are in sales, and salespeople, you're not taking your pharmaceuticals and going to 15 doctors a week. You should be staying in contact with anyone in America today is interested in what's going on in real estate. They watch HGTV, they buy those magazines, they want to know about design trends, color trends, they want to know about freezing pipes and landscaping. People are interested in helping, and you have to come across as the expert in your industry with regards to homes, architecture, neighborhoods, and design. That's what you should be. And if not, you should partner yourself with someone who can help you at least appear that way. You may not all be great in design, and maybe you're better off in gardening, but there's a way for us to make you come across to your sphere more knowledgeable about your industry. So calculate your clients for life. We're going to help you. We're going to have a whole separate meeting about this, and then get them organized. These are my personal ones. These are my invitation ones. These are my professional ones. This is, and we're going to get them organized, and you can keep them yourself. We'll send you the information. If you send it out, or you send it to us, Aaron and his team will send it out for you so that you can stay more involved with your sphere. Doesn't matter what it is. We're going to try and set up these individual marketing meetings with you so we can help identify what you're doing well and what you're going to do differently in 2015 so that you can reach your goals there. We're going to have a whole person on site 5 days a week to help you, and available the other times to help you reach your presence with your situation. We're adding one more person. We're in the adding people mode. Remember, this is the people industry. A whole community liaison to help me with branding and outreach into neighborhoods, who will help me with political endeavors, who will help me with your neighborhood issues. It's a mayoral year, it's city council year, so there's some politics involved with that. But it's basically to help brand us into these individual communities, showing up at the homeowners association meetings, going to things in each of the different neighborhoods so that we can have a greater presence if in fact I'm already busy there. And then Thomas is already doing a fine job with the graphic production. So we've defined the people a little bit better on the marketing department to help you go out there and achieve your goal. So then what we're going to do is say, all right, we're going to give you a better idea of what we're going to do in advance so that you know. In your packet, I think we gave you what was basically the theme for January, February, and March. We're going to continue to talk about these things right here. Redefining the role, redefining the value of realtors. Okay? It's in this message, and this is kind of what we're talking about. So, we're going to go help you make it personal so that you have the same confidence that I have over there. First, my group is going off to Las Vegas next week. I'll be gone Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday or whatever. Brandon Arturo, Frank, and I, and a few more of our friends, the Rowan Rice owners, a number of people going. And we're going off to Las Vegas for the International Kitchen and Bath Industry Show. And it's basically the forefront of construction, energy, efficiency, and design. When we come back, our next meeting on the 27th, Tuesday, is going to be a summary of these design trends, construction trends, information related to that show back on the Tuesday sales meeting. That's just kind of a snippet because we're here. Starting the following week, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we're having again our Boulevard Boot Camp training. Okay? First day is on listing. It's 10 to 3. We're meeting outside of an environment so that we have total freedom and enough room and space. We're not meeting at the office or my house. And we'll have the buying side, the listing side on Tuesday, the buying side on Wednesday, and agent branding, agent issues on the Thursday. We will videotape them. We will make them available, and actually he'll take the videos this time and make them smaller so that we get the snippets out of there, and that you'll have a better idea of these things. So you don't have to watch 5 hours of it. We'll break them up a little bit better, of course. But on the Tuesday of the listing side, we're going to go and show you how you go on a listing appointment in 2015 and talk about things that you probably haven't talked about. We're going to have an iPad presentation so that you can have the iPad uploaded with the information that you need. We have iPads at the office that you can borrow and check out. You can download our presentation onto your iPad if you'd like. We're going to talk about an example. Redefining the role of the facility. What it is that we're doing for the individuals who are listing their house. We're not just setting a price for them. That's the old way of realtors. one of our main objectives when we go and list our house is to protect that seller from liability both during the transaction and after the transaction. Okay? Here's our inherent value. Let me just make it clear. Our value as Boulevard Realty agent versus other agents is to keep them from getting into a conflict and a lawsuit during the transaction and after the transaction. Okay? And we do that a number of different ways. One, we can vet a buyer, we can vet the other side or whatever. But our forms, our information from other sources, our general information to the buyer and seller. What I have learned as the business owner now for 6 years and 7 months is that people love to sue people. It's just what they like to do, and they don't have to have a very good reason. But people like to sue people. And no matter who you work with, they turn on the realtor immediately. If they're your friend, Dusty, they're all your friends one day, and the next day, they're not. Okay? And they tell you one thing, but when things go south, they turn on you so quickly. They say, you told them X, and Y happened. You don't know how many times, Mary Ann, we can explain the option period to someone who's buying and selling, and they understand that they have an option period when they buy, but they didn't grasp that they don't have an option period when they sell, and they want to terminate their contract. I don't have any ability to let them terminate the contract when they don't want to sell anymore and we're under contract. But the first thing they do is say, but you told me I had the right to terminate, right? When I'm the seller. You don't have the right to terminate when you're the seller, you have the right to terminate when you're the buyer. They'll turn on you. A way around that is good communication, presentation, documentation or whatever. But we have these forms, information from other sources, the general information to the buyer that we want signed. And we struggle in the firm to get these forms signed when it's our listing at the bitter end. Sandra's over here asking you, where's your information from other sources? Where's the general information to the buyer? Because you're trying to get it signed the day before closing. That's the wrong way to do it. You need to sit at your listing appointment and say, one of the things I'm going to do is keep you from getting sued later over frivolous things. Changes in square footage, sex offenders being next door to you, whether or not there was termite treatment 5 years ago or 15 years ago. And if you'll say, what I'm going to do for you is make sure that any buyer, when they submit an offer, we're going to submit back these forms, information from other sources, general information to the buyer. We've got them in our little packet here, general information to the buyer. And we're going to get those signed as a condition of any contract that's accepted. Okay? We're going to get them signed prior to the execution date of the contract. And we're going to do so because it's in the seller's best interest that we represent. It doesn't have anything to do with Boulevard Realty. If there's a sex offender that's next door, and we sell a house, and we close on the house, and then 3 days later, I can't believe you bought that house. Don't you know that he molested children that were 3 years old for over 5 years? And the neighbors run over to the new buyer and tell them that all the time, whatever. If you had the form signed that the buyer signed, where they could check the sex offenders themselves over here, then we don't have any issue with it. We don't have any real issue. But when you go to closing and you're co-oping with the John Daugherty agent and they say, I'm not getting my clients to sign this form because this protects Boulevard Realty and not my buyer, there is nothing I can do about it at the closing table. Nothing I can do. But let's be clear. You were irresponsible with your seller at your listing if you didn't get the form signed prior to the execution of the contract. You have a responsibility. You're the professional. This is what the judge always says. You're the trained professional, and they sell one house every 5 years. Mr. Baldwin, how many houses did y'all sell last year? 761? And do you explain this to your agents? And I say yes. And they go, well, why didn't your agent follow the policy? Well, because they were in a hurry to get the offer signed right quick. Well, that was in their best interest, but it wasn't in the best interest of the seller. You see what I'm saying? We have responsibilities. And you know what? There's value. There's value in doing it this way. And the owner, when they have a presentation from Greenwood King and Mark Turner, and they never bring up this at all, they just run them some comps and flip through there and tell them how big their market share is. They never once covered the liability and how we protect the seller with regards to surveys and this information. There's inherently where your value is. That's why they're willing to pay you more than they would the Realty Associates guy, right? That's the inherent value that I want us to take advantage of. That's what we're going to explain in this training. That's what we're going to have in these videos for those that can't attend or whatever. Sharing how you can understand the redefining value of real estate professionals and why one agent and one agency is different or more valuable than another one. There's always someone that will do it cheaper, but will they do it better, and are they worth what you're paying for? So we're going to take the time in these meetings to explain this sort of thing. We're going to continue because I think that's the inherent value of our firm that focuses on experience, knowledge, integrity, and exposure. That's it. That's it. We just have to do a better job at Boulevard Realty to make sure that Brad has the tools that he needs in order to get there. Make sure that Lily understands this from our perspective because maybe she was never trained that way where she came from before. So we're committed to doing that in this training, and we'll continue to make the videos that way. And the same thing with the buying side. Yes, Marissa, did you have questions?
Sorry, I had a few times this past year where I represented the seller and the buyer would not sign that form. I presented it
But if you'll do it before the contract is
Yes,
executed,
it was-
you say, Mr. Seller, we believe wholeheartedly that you should have these forms signed prior to the acceptance of the contract. And if you don't, you're leaving yourself open to some liability with regards to the square footage being changed, or the sex offenders being there, or the school boundaries changing, or any number of these issues.
Right.
And if that seller is willing to enter into the contract, and you just make a note, seller declined to require, and have the seller sign it, then we've done our job.
And I also had the buyer's agent, I noted on there, I have presented the information 3 times, and it said in an email, buyers did receive the information, but will not sign the form. So I have it in writing that they did not want to sign the form. And it happened to me twice, and I sent that to Sandra, that worked. And it was way
Typically, where it's
before-
happening though, is we're trying to get those forms signed the day before closing, or
Okay.
after the auction period. Let me be clear, the time to get the form signed is prior to the execution of the contract. I know we've all seen Caroline Schlimmer's little agent remark that says, don't submit any offer without these 4 forms or whatever. And I know she looks like a bitch. And I used to think that. You know what I think now? I think she's being a responsible real estate agent to the people she represents, which is the seller. It's in the seller's best interest to have these forms signed prior to the execution of the contract. Afterwards, yeah, you're just protecting the real estate firm because they're broker notices. I get that. But if they're handled appropriately, they're really in the seller's best interest. Okay. I'm testifying 5 times in 2015 over these stupid surveys. I don't know how to make it clearer to people that the lobbyists in the state of Texas have determined through laws and jurisdiction that the survey company is not liable for any point of the line unless the buyer purchased and they work for that person. You just transfer the name, they can work for that person, right? They just transfer the name. They didn't work for that person, they don't represent them. So they work for Mr. and Mrs. Smith and they sell a house over here 2 years ago and it's fine. Now we go to resell this house over here and someone wants to use the T47, which the title company finds acceptable and the mortgage company finds acceptable. I got it that they don't care where the line is because their value is in the house, but sellers and buyers do care where the line is. They care where the fence is and whether or not they own that tree or not. So when we give the other survey, the T47 signed over here, and 2 years later, this guy buys and says the line's over here. And they say, oh, I have this survey that says it's over here. And they go to the survey, they go to the title company and says, we just insured the legal description. You own lot 1, block 1 of Houston Heights. Well, I don't know where the line is. We didn't insure the line. We just insured the legal description. And they go to the survey company and says, but I got a survey that says the line is here, now my next door neighbor says the line's over here. They're going to say, we didn't work for you, Mr. Smith. We don't have to defend that survey. That was for Mrs. Jones that we work for. We don't work for you. We don't have to show up in court. We don't have to do anything. They have no liability because they didn't work for you. They only work for the people who ordered the survey and paid for it. Okay? So, we tell the seller, it's irresponsible. It's irresponsible for Boulevard Realty to let any seller go to a transaction and not make the buyer buy their own survey, because it's the only thing that determines where the points of the fences and the houses are. It's irresponsible. I don't want to do it. My insurance company doesn't want to cover it. I don't want you to work here if you won't make the seller make the buyer buy a survey. And I am happy to go talk to every real estate agent that I have to explain it to. Because when I go talk to their buyer and I explain it to them, they're going to want to buy a survey for $450 on a $500,000 transaction. Don't try and save $450, because it's not during the transaction we have the problem. It's never during the transaction. It's 3 years later we have the problem. It's 3 years later. And I don't care if the other real estate agents don't get it or they get it wrong. I don't care. I only care that we represent the seller during the transaction or the buyer over here. We make the buyers buy a survey. If you're going to go enter into a contract to buy a house, you should buy a survey so that you can hold the survey company responsible, because they're telling you where that line is. I don't know if what they're telling me is true or not. I know that they have to go defend you later or compensate you accordingly. That's how we have to go and explain it to the people. Try to make it as clear as I can during the sales meetings, but we're hell-bent on this sort of deal because I'm telling you, it's a huge issue out in our industry, especially in these neighborhoods that have a lot of turnover. We're in constant battles with people over these fences. We're in constant battles. But I tell you, I testify on behalf of the other people, and they go on and say, does Boulevard Realty allow any seller to give a survey? And we tell them, no, we don't do that. Do you require the buyer to buy a survey? Yes, we do. We require the buyer to buy a survey. Do what? I'm too loud.
I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why I was doing my slideshow. Head motion inspector, lunch is ready if you're.
Oh, okay. What time are we?
11:30.
11:30. Okay, let's go just a little bit longer. Just a little bit longer. Okay, in February we've got these deals for you. We're going to, the 10th, we're going to talk about the digital agent. Your presence in anywhere except physically, okay? What is your, if I Google you, what happens? Where's your bio? Where's your Yelp? Where's your presence digitally? What are you saying in Facebook? What are you saying in Twitter, Pinterest, Instagram? What are you saying in the World Wide Web about yourself? What's your LinkedIn profile? Why don't you have a LinkedIn profile if you're a professional? These sort of things. Anything about digital and your digital presence, and talk about that. We're going to talk again about global leverage and the referral network. All of that stuff kind of tying in together about technology and your presence. March is all about location, location, location. So we're going to talk more about neighborhood. We're going to talk more about the east side, the near north side, and Galveston, and individual maps, individual how to run comps, how to better run comps, how to run educated comps, what the comps aren't telling you, what the appraisers don't care about the comps. We're all going to talk about locations and how this stuff impacts you and how to really read the numbers and make the numbers more local. And we'll have more data from January and February, and so I think these things will be more topical for us. And we're going to place all this on Back Agent for you to be able to see. And how is the redefining of the value of a real estate agent tied to these numbers and to this technology? I mean, we're going to tie it all back in together every month this way. So, Aaron, how are we doing? Fine? Okay. That's probably long enough to talk. I do want to talk one more thing, just as we go back to 2015 and stuff when we review. We're well positioned, okay? It doesn't get much better than this. Even this inventory, and I track the inventory all the time. I'm an inventory, I'm fixated on it for 13 and 14. But you got to realize, January 1, 2014, 12 months ago, Boulevard Realty, I track this every week. Last year, in inventory listings, we had $31,320,000. Okay? This year, right now, we have $60,211,000. twice the value of inventory today than we had. I even don't have Beanie Smith family home on there. I've got $40 million worth of houses I have not listed yet. I'm going to shortly. Donna, what percentage of that raw mat stuff do we have? 20%? 25? Probably 20%. There's another $30 million worth of inventory we haven't even listed over there that Boulevard Realty has. I mean, in reality, you have almost $100 million worth of inventory that versus $30 million worth of inventory a year ago.
How many units is that, Bill, last year?
200, last year about 100. Eric breaks it down for me every time. But a little over, today about 175, last year 101.
We are more inventory.
We have more inventory, have more signs than ever. I think we've laid a lot of groundwork. I think there's great opportunity. I do personally have a lot of listings that I'm going to put on in the end of January and February. I just didn't want to flood the market the 1st of January or whatever. So there's more opportunity for open houses. There's more. I'm frustrated on Sunday. I'm very frustrated on the 4-time stuff, but I'm not going to bitch about it because I'm not here to bitch. But I mean, the people that walked in, I think Kelly got them on the Yale. They have a property at Yale and 17. And literally, they told us, and Jim was there for 4 hours and didn't get floor time, and 14 minutes later someone walked in. There was no one on floor time. Actually, Kelly was able to take it. But what they said was, we drove around all day and we saw more of your signs than anyone else. That's what they sat there and told us. And they had to pass Greenwood King and Coldwell Banker in order to get to us or whatever. I mean, they're seeing our signs, they're seeing our other opportunities. It's giving us this exposure that we have because we have greater opportunity and greater market share than we've had before or whatever. So, okay, we're going to stop for lunch because it's a good time to break. We're going to kick back. We'll immediately start with our paperwork. I want to go over some of these changes, and then we're going to talk some more about people. And then I think we'll be out of here by 1 o'clock for sure, if not 12:45. Let's just take 30 minutes to eat and get caught up.